hate me, don't you?
Tune in to KONS Podcast.
You hate me, don't you? 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 You hate me, don't you?
You know what I mean? Go back to the streets, go back to grinding, go back to hustling. That's definitely a fear, you know what I mean? In the space, being a father, I don't want to ever hit that type of mentality, you know what I mean? Where I've been there before. What set me apart from the rest? And why should y'all listen? This was a dope question right here.
You hate me, don't you?
Man, what set me apart? You feel me? Commentary. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think there's definitely why y'all should listen. And I think the edits and all the work I'm doing in editing, putting into every episode, definitely, I was ready to go. Green light, you know what I'm saying? And then I had to wait on this person, to wait on that person, you know what I'm saying? When we collabing to try to do something together, everybody got to meet at that one point in time. You know what I'm saying? With me and seeing my transitions work and everything I put into it and seeing the finished product, that's when I definitely became kind of addicted. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, and that's when I knew I was going to. Yeah, what's up? What's happening? What's going on? You know what I mean? What is happening on this good Friday? You know what I mean? It is Friday. You know what I'm saying? Friday is the end of the week. Hopefully everybody had a productive week. Hopefully you've been doing everything you wanted to do at work. Hopefully you got a promotion at work this week. You know what I'm saying? For how hard that you've been working all week. You know what I mean? It's Good Friday, January 16th. It is 1:52 in the afternoon. You know what I'm saying? So how y'all doing? How y'all doing? I hope y'all enjoying this Friday. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all enjoyed the last episode. You know what I mean? I hope y'all enjoyed the last episode where I was giving you some good information about the ICE agent that had popped another Venezuelan man out there in Minneapolis. People was riding, you know what I mean? Also let you know that NFL player Sam Beal been missing for 7 months, just right along with Aaron Hall, also been missing since he was named in the Diddy trial. He got ghosted ever since. Can't nobody find him. But that's the last episode. That was the 3 topics I hit you with on the last episode. Hope you enjoyed that. You know what I mean? Today, I got a few questions, you know what I'm saying? Today I asked some of my viewers, some of my homies, you know what I mean, people that watch, people I've been messing with for a long time, you know what I'm saying? So I asked them to send me some questions about what they would ask me, you know what I mean, if they were sitting down with an interview, you know what I mean? So I took all the questions in. I have about 19, 20 questions, 18 questions, something like that I'm gonna go over, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be getting into these questions and I'm gonna be answering them, you feel me? And I'm gonna be answering all the questions that were sent to me, you know what I mean? Biggest fears in life, you know what I'm saying? What set me apart? You know what I mean? What are my biggest challenges? What's the goals? You know what I'm saying? Where I want to see this in a year? Just some of the questions that I'm gonna be answering today. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be giving a shout out to the people that send me the question and the credits at the end of the episode. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what today's episode is. You feel me? 10Q from you, 10A from me. You feel me? That's 10 questions from you, 10 answers from me. You know what I'm saying? That's the title of today's episode. You know what I mean? Episode 353. You know what I'm saying? So I ask people not to give me no yes or no questions. You know what I mean? Give me something I can elaborate on. You know what I mean? Don't give me no simple, you feel me, where I can just say yes or no. You know what I'm saying? I want something that I can really get into. You know what I mean? When asked these questions. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, without no more chat. And another thing, you know what I mean, this your first time here, you know what I mean, this is a good episode to start with, you know what I'm saying, because this is where I usually go over the news, usually go over the headlines, usually go over whatever headline you might have seen on your homepage, you know what I'm saying, whether your homepage was Yahoo News, MSNBC News, Google News, Hip Hop DX, wherever the case may be, as you get your headlines, you probably cover 1 or 2 or 3 of them headlines right here on KONS Podcast, you know what I'm saying, but today, and every so often, I might go into something that ain't got nothing to do with the news, you know what I mean, it's a Friday, and saying? A lot of news is just carrying over that ain't really no new news, you know what I mean? It's the same stuff that I've been talking about all week building up until today, you know what I'm saying? So today is going to be a steer away from the news, you know what I mean? And I'm going to go into these questions that I asked y'all to ask me, and the questions came mighty fast, you know what I'm saying? Definitely only had to wait about 20 minutes before all these questions came from about 4 or 5 different people. So without no more chit chat, without no more banter or further ado, let's jump right into these questions. You feel me? So first question, you know what I'm saying? First question, like I said, we don't need to go into who said what, you know what I mean? I put the names of because I'm not even going to remember who sent what, you feel me? I'm just going to put the names in the credits as far as who sent these questions, you feel me? So the first question though, you know what I'm saying? What is my biggest fear in life in the podcast space, you know what I mean? Biggest fear in life, you know what I'm saying? I would have to go with, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Failure. You know what I mean? Failing at everything, you know what I'm saying? Hitting rock bottom. You know what I mean? Having to being to a point in life where it feels like there's no option but to, like, you know what I mean, go back to the streets, go back to grinding, go back to hustling. That's definitely a fear, you know what I mean? In the space, being a father, I don't want to ever hit that type of mentality, you know what I mean? Where I've been there before, you know what I'm saying? So I would say that's the biggest fear. Biggest fear in life, that would be in podcast space. Biggest fear in this podcast space, I don't know. I guess it would be like a severe decrease of subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm used to seeing my subscriber number climbing. You feel me? Since I started. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't really used to seeing no people unsubscribing. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I get a surge of, like, 15, 20 in a week or so, you know what I'm saying? I'll lose 1 or 2. That's normal. You know what I mean? But I think a fear in this podcast space would be for people to fall off of what they enjoy watching. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, they would just start falling off. People would just start unsubscribing and kicking my little podcast and all my creations to the curb. I think that would be a fear in this podcast space. You know what I mean? Who would I want to collab with, if anyone, living or dead? Collab with, like, do an interview with. Who would I want to do an interview with? Man, I would probably say DMX. I'd probably say DMX, you know what I'm saying? I think I would definitely want to do a collab or interview or sit down and talk with him for sure. Now, somebody alive, I would definitely love to talk to, like a Charlemagne or Kevin Hart, you know what I'm saying? Somebody of that nature, or definitely a fellow Cancer, 50 Cent, you know what I mean? I would definitely love to collab with one of them. I'm sure it's people I'm probably missing out that I haven't probably thought of before, you know what I'm saying? But as far as come to mind right now, that's who I would want to collab with for sure. The unalive person, that'd probably be like DMX or somebody. Michael Jackson, you know what I mean, would be dope to talk to, you know what I'm saying? Have a little conversation with, Pac, definitely Tupac. I mean, who would want to sit down and chop it up with Pac, you know what I'm saying? Just people like that, you know what I mean? Definitely legends, you know what I'm saying? The people who I would definitely want to, love to collab with. What set me apart from the rest, and why should y'all listen? This was a dope question right here. Man, what set me apart? You feel me? Now, it's a lot of people doing this news stuff, doing this headline stuff. I ain't the only one doing it, you know what I'm saying? But now what set me apart is my opinions and my personality that I bring along with it. You know what I mean? My views, you know what I'm saying? My thoughts on these topics, sharing what I think about these topics, you know what I mean? My little funny ways I might say things, or, you know what I'm saying? I might say something funny about what somebody doing. Like, a lot of people found it funny when I was covering the Drake issue, Drake and Kendrick, you know what I'm saying? So just little things like that, and definitely my edits in the videos, you know what I mean? Everything I'm doing with it, got it looking like a full show, full podcast, you know what I'm saying? And I'm doing this with little to nothing, you know what I mean? So definitely I think that's what sets me apart, you know what I mean? Every day, or try to be every day, every episode, you're going to get the edits. It's going to look like the news, you know what I'm saying? You're going to get the little intro, the outro, you're going to get the little sayings, my conisms and all that, you know what I mean? Now, granted, we all got that, you know what I mean? But now I think I definitely stand out with the edits and the stuff and the work that I'm putting into this, you know what I mean, for sure. With the topics that I'm covering, you know what I'm saying? I think I have good selection of topics, stuff that people want to hear, not just your rundown of news that we can see on the news, you know what I'm saying? I definitely pick different cool topics I feel that the people want to hear about, you know what I mean? I think that's definitely what has me stands out apart from the rest. And y'all should definitely listen, because I'm keeping you updated on this wicked world, you know what I mean? That's why y'all should listen, you feel me? And then like I said, you get KONS commentary, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's definitely why y'all should listen. And I think edits and all the work I'm doing in editing, putting into every episode, definitely what stands me out. Because a lot of these podcasters and people on YouTube, you know what I'm saying, they not editing nothing, you know what I mean? They don't edit a thing. They just sit and record and then send it off to their editors or whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying, if they have a team, you know what I mean? But they ain't doing nothing, no transitions in their podcast, nothing on the screen, no topics on the screen, no none of that. You know what I'm saying? Joe Budden is one of the ones, I think he kind of does a little editing, put little titles and topics and stuff like that on the screen or whatnot. But other than that, I think that's definitely what makes me stand out, you know what I mean? And why y'all should definitely listen and share too, tell your peoples about it, you know what I'm saying? What have been my biggest challenges? My biggest challenges, you know what I'm saying, when I first started off, I was going to do a bunch of people coming in and a bunch of people, you know what I'm saying, having conversations with a bunch of people, you know what I mean? I tried to do that, but I wanted to get to the everyday thing, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to get to everyday recording, you know what I mean? That was a goal I wanted to get to, because consistency is key. I definitely believe that, you know what I mean? So the biggest challenges was when I was doing things and trying to get people to collab with, you know what I mean, as far as my peers, my homies, people that I mess with, people that mess with me, you know what I mean? It was just relying on their schedule, you know what I'm saying? I'm ready to go, you know what I mean? I was ready to go, green light, you know what I'm saying? And then I had to wait on this person or wait on that person, you know what I'm saying? When we collabing to try to do something together, everybody got to meet at that one point in time, you know what I'm saying? Which means you have to kind of take time out your day for me, you know what I mean? So I get it, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, you know, you never can expect anybody else to take what you are doing passionately as serious or as passionate as you are, you know what I mean? So with that being realized, you know what I'm saying, I think that was one of the biggest challenges, is waiting on somebody else's schedule, especially when it's more than one or two other people, you know what I'm saying, that I'm trying to have on the episode. It's just a matter of everybody scheduling, meshing together, you know what I mean? I think that was definitely one of my biggest challenges, you know what I'm saying? And teaching myself how to edit also, you know what I mean? I think that was definitely a challenge for me. I can remember days and times where I used to spend 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I'm talking hours a day editing, you know what I'm saying? Because I was teaching myself in the beginning, so I wasn't really too good at it, you know what I'm saying? I was just freestyling a lot of things, trying a lot of things out, you know what I mean? Seeing how this works, seeing how that works, what does this do, what does that do, you know what I mean? I remember hitting my boy Wang, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I called him Wang, you know what I'm saying? World-announced notorious gamer, you feel me? I thought that was like a dope acronym there. I don't know if he came up with that, you know what I'm saying? But I thought it was dope, so Wang is what I always call him, you know what I mean? But yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I remember hitting him, you know what I'm saying? Because he was using iMovie and Final Cut, you know what I mean? So I remember hitting him because he came from iMovie as well. So I remember hitting him and asking him a whole bunch of different questions about different things, you know what I'm saying? Trying to figure this edit thing out, you know what I'm saying? Trying to figure this iMovie thing out, you feel me? And then when I got Final Cut, I taught myself how to do that. That was a whole nother challenge, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think that was definitely biggest challenge for me. What is my ultimate goal with this podcast? Man, my ultimate goal with this podcasting is to see one of them plaques. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to touch them goals, trying to get some pennies for these thoughts. You feel me? Pennies for them. You know what I'm saying? And I mean that. Like, I ain't trying to get stupid rich off of this. You know what I'm saying? I just want to pay some bills and live comfortably off something that I love doing. You know what I'm saying? This is something that I really love doing. I really love editing. You know what I'm saying? I really love creating. I really love putting these episodes together. I really love putting the transitions in. I really love cutting up the speech that I do, like how I do cut out you know, I cut all that, try to cut a lot of that out, you know, but I love doing that, you know what I'm saying? I love finding out new things, learning how to talk, you know what I mean? I cut out the profanity in my episodes, you know what I'm saying? I no longer cuss in them, you know what I mean? So it's just teaching myself new things, you know what I mean? I think that's definitely what I love, but the goal is definitely to get some pennies for these thoughts, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm just trying to live, you know what I'm saying? Pay some bills, you feel me? So by doing something that I love and really love doing, you know what I'm saying? So if I can get, $120 a month, I'm going to be hype off of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the biggest goal was to definitely hit some accolades in this podcast space. You know what I mean? 100,000 subscribers, even 1 million, get them plaques, 500,000. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want that YouTube plaque, though. That is definitely something I want to hang on my wall. What do you see you need improvement with in life? Where do I see I need improvement with in life? Damn. In life, man, you feel me? Parenting, you know what I'm saying? I think I could definitely improve in that. I mean, but that's an everyday learning thing. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like any parent can feel like they can improve in that. Let's see, what else? You know what I mean? Yeah, just parenting, you know what I'm saying? And staying on a positive path, you know what I mean? Staying on the right path. I think that's definitely a challenge for me. Definitely something I need improvement in, you know what I mean? Staying focused, you know what I'm saying? I say that. What moment would I say was the moment that I knew that this podcasting was going to be something that I stuck with? So I would say when I started gathering an audience, when I started having an audience, I started having an audience of people watching every episode. When I was averaging, you know what I'm saying, like what I do similar to like, you know what I mean, what I average on. Sometimes these videos go up to 100, 200, 300, but you know, just gathering the people that mess with this, you know what I'm saying, gathering people that really love watching this, you know what I'm saying. I think that's what definitely was the moment for me that I knew I was going to stick with it, because I love doing it. And then when I started hearing feedback of people saying that they love it too, you know what I'm saying, they like the work that I'm putting out and stuff that I'm creating, you know what I mean, and my ideas and thoughts on these certain topics, you know what I'm saying. So that's definitely when I realized, you know what I mean, when I started getting positive feedback, that's when I realized I was definitely going to stick with it. When I started editing and seeing my own product and seeing my transitions work and everything I put into it and seeing the finished product, that's when I definitely became kind of addicted, you know what I'm saying. Definitely. And that's when I knew I was going to definitely stick with it, you know what I'm saying, because I developed a love for something so tedious as far as editing, you know what I mean. That's when I knew I was going to definitely stick with it. From the beginning until where I'm at now with podcasting, what stands out in my progression? Dope question. So what stands out to me, you know what I'm saying, is how, like I say all the time, what my channel would be about growth. You know what I mean? I want you to see the elevation. I want you to see the come up, you know what I'm saying, from day one out the mud up until wherever it is that I'm at this point right now. You know what I'm saying? I started off not editing nothing. One shot straight through. You know what I mean? If I mess up on something, I didn't like it, I had to really start all over or explain it or something, you know what I'm saying, or just keep it in there. But it was no editing at first. One shot straight through. I set my phone up on a stack of video game cases, Xbox cases, you know what I'm saying, and that was how I had the level. I sat down in front of it, you know what I mean, I was on my ear Bluetooth mic, I didn't have no mic, you know what I'm saying. So I think that's just what I want people to, I think that's just what it is, from the beginning until where I'm at now. That's what definitely stands out in my progression, you know what I mean, from going to not editing to editing, to putting input, to putting clips in my videos. I didn't have that at first. You know what I'm saying. I started off with just YouTube filters, you know what I mean, just not doing no editing at all. So yeah, that's definitely what I'd like to see with the progression of my progression, you know what I'm saying, the come up slowly but surely. If you watch 1 through 353, you'll definitely see the progression, and that's what I love seeing, and I hope the viewers can see that too, you know what I mean. Yo, what's up? Excuse me. Pardon this interruption, you know what I'm saying, but this is a time in the middle of this episode where you can hit that subscribe button, you know what I'm saying. If you ain't hit it yet and you enjoying this constant content of KONS Podcast, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, you feel me. If you ain't hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you ain't hit the like button, hit the share button, you know what I'm saying. And if you ain't shared this, hit the subscribe button, you know what I mean, and go back down the list, hit the like button and comment, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, go ahead and do that right now. Hit that subscribe button, man, you know what I'm saying. I promise you, you ain't gonna be disappointed and catch all this content, you know what I'm saying. Make sure you hit that bell too, so that you get notified whenever I drop an episode, you know what I'm saying. Let's get back to this episode though. If there was someone following your footsteps, what are the do's and don'ts you see that will help them on their journey in life or podcast? Somebody following in your footsteps, what are the do's and don'ts? Man, the do's, definitely go for it. If you got something you want to do with this podcasting space, with this YouTube space, jump into it, you know what I'm saying. Don't hesitate, don't think too much into it, don't think too much about it every day, just do it, you know what I mean. Start doing it, you feel me. The snowball got to start rolling, you know what I'm saying. Nobody hits this type of success overnight, you feel me. This is something that you got to start with and start doing it, you feel me. You got to just get it out the mud, you know what I mean. Just start it up, don't hesitate on it, just keep doing with it, you know what I mean. The don'ts, I would say to somebody following in my footsteps on my journey, I would definitely say probably the don'ts. I would say, just ignore the hype. You know what I mean? Fall in love with what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Do what it is that you do. Fall in love with it. That's whatever it is that you're doing. You know what I mean? Don't feed into how many viewers is looking at it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna get 100,000, you know what I'm saying? Don't look at the numbers, analytics. Don't let that deter you from nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said you have to find a love for this. You know what I mean? You got to find a passion for it first so that you can keep doing it without worrying about numbers. You know what I'm saying? I would say that would be a don't. Definitely keep some integrity and moral about yourself, especially when you front this camera. Eventually, whatever you say is going to get out to the world. You know, a lot more people is going to start seeing what you say, so you got to be careful with what you're saying. You know what I mean? You don't want to offend a bunch of people. You know what I'm saying? I would say that would definitely be some don'ts. But dudes, definitely go with it. Keep your mind focused. You know what I mean? Stay on that journey. Stay in the passion that you're passionate about. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nothing get in your way of that passion. Don't let nothing stop you with that passion. You know what I mean? Let your passion be a freight train, you know what I'm saying? And run over anybody trying to stand in the way. For real. Let's see. What's the next question? If there was someone following us what this did, do I intend on having people back on my podcast? That's the thing. Like I said earlier, you know what I mean? I definitely like having people on, but it's just a matter of falling people's schedules meshing, you know what I mean? That's just one thing that was a pet peeve for me. I'm green lighted, you know what I'm saying? I'm ready to go. I'm a Cancer, you know what I mean? So I hate when I'm like ready to do something, I'm ready to go, and then I got to turn around and wait, you feel me, on somebody, or wait for somebody to do that, or wait for somebody to do this, you know what I mean? I'm very like a stickler, like, you know what I'm saying? Even when I'm like, if I'm picking someone up, like my kids, for example, you know what I'm saying? If I feel like or know that they're going to be coming out 20 minutes after they get out of school, then I'm no longer going to be getting there early. You know what I mean? I like for you to be outside waiting for me when I pull up. Instead of I pull up, then I got to wait for you. You know what I mean? That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So, I will have people back on here, though. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, you know what I mean? I'll start doing episodes where people will come back and collab. But like I said, it's just when them schedules have to mesh. You know what I'm saying? And then I don't really like waiting on people. You know what I mean? This is why I chose to do this by myself and look and had a topic or something to do every day for this. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to wait on nobody. So people will be back on here. It's just a matter of setting that up. You know what I mean? How do you remain unbiased on your topics? Simple, you know what I mean? A lot of the topics that I cover, it's just basically topics that I'm not really biased on, you know what I mean? So a lot of stuff that I cover, I'm not really biased on it, you know what I mean? I don't really, you know what I'm saying? That's why I don't really get into sports on here. I don't really talk about politics, you know what I'm saying? Anything of that nature, you know what I mean? Because definitely with sports, I'm going to definitely be biased, you know what I'm saying? It's Niner gang or no gang, you know what I'm saying, over here with me, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely going to be biased with that, you know what I'm saying? Anything comes to the Niners, you know what I mean? So, but I mean, ask anybody that's a fan of your favorite team, you know what I mean? You're going to be biased with it. But now, the topics that I do and stuff, I don't really have a biased opinion of. That's how I stay not biased on topics, you know what I mean? I'm biased. What is your ultimate pet peeve with most people? Ultimate pet peeve with most people? Man, I don't know. I would say probably, you know what I'm saying? Lies, snake stuff, you know what I mean? Smiling in your face. When you feel a different way about someone, and you smile in that person's face, making them think you feel another way. You know, deception, deceitful. I mean, I don't like, those are pet peeves for sure. You know what I'm saying? Those are definitely pet peeves. Yeah, you know what I mean? Just being a snake in the grass, slithering. You know what I mean? Plotting on somebody close to you. You know, just being a snake. Just being a scumbag person. That is definitely a pet peeve to me. You know what I mean? Yeah, lies, you know what I'm saying? Pet peeve for sure. Those are definitely pet peeves. That answers that question, you know what I'm saying? What steps did you take to create the podcast? Like I was saying earlier in the progression, you know what I'm saying? I took certain steps, I just went with it, you know what I mean? First I started off with my phone, nothing but my phone, and that's all it was. Now I'm using my phone, but I'm using just the camera aspect of my phone, you know what I'm saying? It's definitely in front of me now, filming me, you know what I mean? It's how y'all seeing me right now, you know what I'm saying? But now, definitely started off with the phone, you know what I mean? The steps I took, taught myself how to edit, you know what I'm saying? Made my episodes a little bit more visual flair. You know what I'm saying? A little bit more flashy. Putting in transitions, putting in themes on the windows. You know what I'm saying? Like how the news look like the news with the blue. You know what I'm saying? The blue titles and the themes I got going for it. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the steps I took. You know what I mean? Teaching myself how to edit, teaching myself how to do a lot of things. You know what I mean? When it came to this, that I didn't know. You know what I mean? I didn't take no class. I didn't take no YouTube class. I didn't read no, you know what I mean, editing for dummies type deal. I didn't do none of that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I would say. Definitely, that's some of the steps I took. And learning, you know what I'm saying? Learning how to speak. You know what I mean? Another step I took, learning how to speak. You know what I mean? I'm still learning that. You know what I'm saying? I still say, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? Like 100 times in sentences. Y'all hear it? You know what I mean? So yeah, there's just all a learning process though. You know, so the more you do it, something, the better you gonna get at it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just certain things about where I'm from and who I am. Those, you know what I'm saying? And you feel me? Is just gonna come out. You know what I mean? But that's definitely some of the steps that I'm taking to cut out cussing. You know what I mean? That's another step I took. Broaden the audience. You know what I'm saying? Have watch this with your children. You feel me? But yeah, that's just certain steps I took just to get better. You know what I mean? Speech, editing, learning how to talk without so much of the, you know what I'm saying? So you feel me? Censoring. You know what I'm saying? Learning how to follow community guidelines, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely what I would take, what steps I took to create this podcast. You know what I mean? How much money did I put up for it? Not too much. You know what I mean? I would say probably the laptop is probably the most expensive thing as far as this laptop. Probably the most expensive thing as far as where the money went as far as towards this podcast. Definitely the laptop. You know what I'm saying? This MacBook. You feel me? This mic right here, this Elgato mic, this was given to me. You feel me? And shout out to Money. You know what I'm saying? He had upgraded to a Shure mic and passed this down to me. You know what I'm saying? And I am forever grateful of that. You feel me? This is a great mic. I love this mic. You know what I mean? Good luck and shout out to Money. You know what I mean? But yeah, as far as how much, I don't have a dollar amount as far as how much I put into this. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I put a little bit of bread into this. How do you decide on the news topics that you do and select? That's a good question too. You know what I'm saying? I handpick and go through about 3 or 4 topics. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at stuff that I would like to cover that people would probably want to hear about without it being ratchetness. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like to cover too much on relationships or somebody cheating or celebrity relationship, who's dating. You know what I'm saying? I almost covered one recently about Anthony Anderson and Roxy Diaz. You know what I mean? I didn't know they were item, but they were item. But, you know, stuff like that I just don't really cover. I don't really put in there. It's just kind of pointless. You know what I mean? It's, I don't know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Offset and Cardi B, covered that one episode, you know what I mean? Because there was nothing else to kind of find. But yeah, I just look for stuff that people want to hear about. You know what I'm saying? I definitely try to put something about tech in there, you know what I mean? Because y'all know how I feel about AI. It's definitely taking over, and how I feel about tech, you know what I'm saying? And how it's being implemented on us. I talk about that all the time on here, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just try to pick topics that's trending, topics that's people are talking about that I would like to talk about, that I would like to inform you about. That's how I pick the topics, you know what I mean? Stay away from ratchetness though. Excuse me. I don't like covering nothing too ratchet, you know what I mean? That's one thing I don't do. And I stay away from politics. I don't cover too much politics either, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. What was the hardest part about launching the podcast? The hardest part about launching this, I would say, was learning how to edit. And finding out what I wanted to do, you know what I'm saying? What I wanted to talk about, you know what I mean? Finding out what it was I had to do, how to set this up, you know what I'm saying? How to go about it, you know what I mean? It's still a whole lot I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I love learning things, you know what I mean? I like learning new things at that. So that was the hardest part, just a lot of self-learning, you know what I mean? I would say that was the hardest part if I was to classify something as being a difficult part of this, you know what I mean? That would I say would be the hardest part, you know what I'm saying? And then, of course, centering myself, that was kind of hard. I mean, I'm used to it now, but, you know, that was definitely kind of hard in the beginning when I first started doing that, you know what I mean? That was definitely the hardest part about launching it, you know what I mean? And all of the self-learning, like I said, you know what I'm saying? Where do you hope your podcast will be in a year from now? In a year from now, I don't really think too much about where this is going, or a year from now what it's going to be doing, or 2 years from now what it's going to be doing. I don't think too much on that, you know what I mean? Yeah, but you know what I mean? I don't really think too much on what it's going to be like a year from now, you know what I'm saying? But now I definitely wanted to go somewhere, you know what I mean? Slowly slowly but surely, it's taking flight. You know what I mean? It's definitely taking off. It's definitely gaining subscribers. A lot more people is watching. You know what I mean? So I don't really think too much about where I want it to be in a year. You know what I mean? Like I said, I do want them plaques. You know what I'm saying? I do want them 100,000, 500,000 subs for sure. You know what I mean? Am I gonna get that? Do I think I'm gonna get that in a year? Nah. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't have any thoughts as far as like where I want this to be. I just want to still remain consistent a year from now. You know what I'm saying? And if my consistency pays off, then it pays off. That's the ultimate goal. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I would say. Where do I want it to be in a year? You know, I hope I'm still in a mindset of being consistent with this, even if nothing happens. You know what I mean? But like I said, when you fall in love with something, you just like doing it. You just like doing it. You know what I mean? So the time will come for me to be successful in this, and for me to get them plaques is just only a matter of time. You know what I mean? But yeah, though, you know what I'm saying? That's all I got. That's all the questions I had that I got from y'all. You feel me? Appreciate the questions that y'all sent. Those of you that sent them questions in, and those of y'all sent them in fast. I mean, like, yeah, I thought I was gonna have to be waiting until half the day, but y'all was like, you know, for sure. Yeah, I got you. You know what I mean? So that's definitely dope. You know what I mean? The fact that people definitely looked out and definitely came through with these questions. You know what I'm saying? These are dope questions, great questions that I can sit here and talk about. So I loved it. You know what I mean? I might do this again. You know what I'm saying? I definitely messed with it. Like I said, I put y'all names in the credits. You know what I mean? On who said what. You know what I mean? Not who said what, but I put y'all name in the credits. You know what I'm saying? Just to let people know, the people that was answering and putting these questions, sending these questions to me. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you. But yeah, you know what I mean? It's episode 353. You know what I mean? 10Q from you, 10A from me. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. You know what I mean? This is definitely a steer off away from the news for the one time. You know what I mean? But yeah, thank all y'all for tuning in. Thank all y'all for watching. We all know you could have been doing anything you wanted to do. You know what I mean? No matter who you was, whether you was the little brother, little sister, whether you was an auntie, uncle, whether you was a niece, a nephew, a grandpa, a grandma, whether you was a mother or father, whether you was cousin Pookie, cousin Mookie, cousin Man, cousin P, cousin Nunu. You know what I mean? If you got a pet there too, and your pet is sitting there right there with you, and you petting them while y'all watching KONS Podcast, whether your pet could be a pet cat, it could be a pet dog, a pet gerbil, a pet antfarm, a pet hedgehog, you have a pet squirrel, you know what I'm saying? You got a pet hyena, a pet pig, you feel me? You got a pet chicken, you know what I'm saying? Cock-a-doodle-doodling at the screen, you know what I'm saying? Whenever the podcast come on, you know what I mean? But salute to him, you know what I'm saying? Like you see the homie scrolling up that screen, you know what I mean? Thank you all for tuning in. Thank all y'all for watching. I hope all y'all have a dope weekend. You feel me? I hope your weekend is lit. I'm definitely gonna try to make mine lit. We got the Niners game tomorrow, so yeah, hopefully we can beat these Seacocks. You know what I mean? But yeah, now you know what I'm saying? Tune in to KONS Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. You know what I'm saying? Questions from y'all, 10 answers from me. Way more than 10, but appreciate it. You know what I mean? Have a good weekend. Feel me? Cheers. What it was I had to do, how to set this up, you know what I'm saying, how to go about it, you know what I mean, it's still a whole lot I don't know, you know what I'm saying, I love learning things, I mean, I like learning new things, kicking my little podcast and all my creations too. I think that would be a fear in this podcast, nation. Nothing on the screen, no topics on the screen, no none of that, you know what I'm saying, Joe Budden is one of the ones, I think he kind of does little editing, put little titles and topics and stuff like that on the screen or whatnot.
You hate me, don't you? You hate me, don't you? You hate me, don't you? You hate me, don't you?
Yo, what's up? Excuse me. Pardon this interruption, you know what I'm saying? But this is a time in the middle of this episode where you can hit that subscribe button.
You hate me, don't you? 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 You hate me, don't you?